So as per usual, on Friday at noon EST, that's when we do our live repairs. But this particular one, because tomorrow technically is when spring starts. So um, we thought that this is exactly when we're going to start taking out our scooters, even if it's just a little cold, everyone's taking that chance out. So we thought we'd do a spring tune-up video today instead of a repair one. So just basically a few things that you want to do before you get your scooter out again, making sure that it's all good and ready to go. Pour ceux qui parlent en français, pour ceux qui viennent du Québec ou vous êtes francophone, je parle aussi en français, donc si vous avez des questions, n'hésitez pas à me demander. If you guys have any questions, repair related, whether it's this repair or any repair, go ahead. I'm here to help. So, plus, I mean, we have the advantage of being down in the warehouse today instead of being up, kind of like last week. So that's cool. I have a bit more flexibility on what I can show you and what I can explain. So don't hesitate. So let's get right to it. So a few things that we're going to be doing today. We're going to be checking our brakes. We want to make sure that they're all good and running, and we're going to kind of just adjust them, make sure that they're good, that our brakes are all good. You might need brake pads, so we're going to check our brake pads too, making sure that they aren't used up too much. And so yeah, if you guys need brake pads or that kind of thing, you guys can shoot us an email, or you can go on our live chat on our website. And then we're going to be lubricating some parts too. You know, we just want to make sure that everything is nice and lubricated, everything is smooth before we go back out. And those kind of things, well, I'll show you and explain more as we get into it. There's a lot of things that you can kind of do on like a regular maintenance thing, but right now let's just get into it for the spring tune-up. So we'll start. I'm going to start with a rear brake pad. I'm just going to make sure that everything's good. So turning on the scooter, okay, I can hear there's some rubbing on the disc there. So I'm probably going to change something there. So with the brake adjustment for an Explorer, it's always easier if you get the back fender off. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm using my Phillips head screwdriver to remove the 4 screws that are on here. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the other side. As you can see, the scooter is a bit dirty. That's because the last few days have been really warm here in Montreal, so we've been getting it out. But of course, as typical to Montreal weather, today is like a good -6, and yesterday was a +6. So that's usually how it is with the weather always changing. And yeah, this weekend is looking very nice. So I'm pretty sure everyone will be getting their scooters out. We're starting to see a lot of pictures and stuff on our Instagram and Facebook, so yeah, don't hesitate to sharing them with us. So my fender's off. Keep those 4 screws in a safe space. So now if you want to come up here, what we're going to be adjusting is the brake caliper here. So what's probably the issue is the alignment of the caliper. But before doing that, I'm just going to clean the disc, and since we want everything to kind of be good and nice, so I'm going to use my 5mm Allen key, which I put there, and just take out the brake caliper. It's those 2 screws here. If you guys have any questions or anything, don't hesitate to ask.
Someone asked if it's Randy behind the camera today.
No, not today. Usually it is, but Randy's not in today, so it's actually Laurent that's with us today. He's usually on the fulfillment side, but he's helping me out by filming the live. And we didn't want to miss the live to kind of stay consistent. So we're gonna clean the rotor. So for that, I'm just gonna have kind of like a paper towel and just pass through with some Windex or just like a general purpose cleaning product. This is just to kind of get the rotor clean. And now what I like to do, and this isn't necessary, but if you have at home or actually just in general, is clean it with nail polish remover. So this actually cleans out the carbon from the brake pads, and it cleans it out real nice, because a lot of the time you'll also have like a bit of residue from the brake pad. So that's what we're going to be changing here too. So our brake pad here is actually looking kind of good. So I'm not going to change them, but usually you'll notice that like it will have worn down when you need to change them. In this case, they're looking good. So I actually just changed. I think I changed this one just like a week or so ago. But I am still going to remove it, and I'm going to clean the brake pads that are here too. Again, this isn't 100% necessary, but I mean, it's always nice to have them clean, and sometimes the squeaking can come from the residue that are on the brake pads, or something like, when you brake and it kind of squeaks, it goes like a so just cleaning it to make sure.
Someone asks, can you clean the rear brake disc without taking off the caliper?
Yeah, if it's just a disc, you can. Because I mean, technically, you only need to go on one side and just clean it, right? Like, and the caliper would be here. I guess I'll show you afterwards. But I took it out, that way I have access to the brake pads. And now, same thing, I'm gonna use the nail polish remover again. And just clean the brake pads. You see all this like dirt here. This isn't necessarily dirt. A lot of it is just residue from the brake pads. So I'm just wiping that off. Yeah, my brake pads are good, so I'm not changing them. And here, I'll put them back on. Make sure when you're putting them back on is to have like the side that actually has the brake pad and the carbon towards the other. And we'll put the pin back through. Here, a long nose plier is always useful in those situations. And just fold it back. Make sure you do that too.
Another question.
Yeah.
Someone asks, how many miles should I do before changing my brake pads?
So honestly, it really depends on the situation. It depends on how you brake. If you're braking a lot only at the back, on the rear instead of both. If you're going just on the front instead of both, then you're going to change it. If you're the kind of guy that's always braking, or you're braking like at a stop, but I'd say, so in miles, I'd say maybe like around like 150-ish. Like maybe you won't have to change them at 150, but like just check them and make sure they're good. And honestly, you can kind of make do without them being changed, even if they're worn out a bit. Like you can just basically adjust the brake tighter. It's not gonna brake as good. But yeah, I'd say around like 150 miles around. But this is not very much a number that you kind of use. So now that rubbing sound that was happening is what I'm going to adjust. So it's definitely with the alignment of the caliper. So to change the alignment, well, first of all, I'm just going to undo this. There we go. First of all, my sound is gone, so that's good. But I am still going to. I think the alignment is good. If you need to change the alignment, it's those two screws up here. and you can kind of move it left and right. So now I'm just going to adjust it basically until it touches. Now you can hear that it touches, and I want it to be just under that, right? So now if I let go, it's still kind of rubbing a little bit. So there we go. A little less. Nice. Now it doesn't, so but I still want it to be tight, so I'm going to turn this anti-clockwise. As you can hear it touching again. So now I'm going back clockwise till it doesn't, and I'm kind of finding that perfect middle point where it doesn't. So spinning it, test out my brake. It's good. Now I'm pretty good on the back side. At least for now, at least on the brake.
So one more question.
Yeah.
Is it normal to hear a metallic scraping sound while you are manually moving the scooter on the ground, like without the throttle? But then when you're using the throttle to accelerate, you don't hear it.
It depends where the sound is coming from. So let's say if it's coming from your disc, like from the rotor, then it could just be that it's not well adjusted, and so when you accelerate, you're going faster, and so you don't really hear the sound. If it is that case, then like you're fine. And I'm pretty sure that's where it would come from, because I don't see how it would be different when you're not. Yeah, I think that would be it. Hopefully this answers your question. But if it doesn't do it while you accelerate, I wouldn't worry about it. It's probably just the brakes, which anyways, when you go fast, a lot of the times when you adjust it, you kind of hear it, like when you're kind of doing it in the air or when you're pushing it, and then once you kind of go forward, you stop hearing. So yeah. Okay, now let's move on to the front brakes. Same thing here, I'm going to give it a quick clean. And just make sure everything's good. And top it off with the nail polish remover. See, right now the caliper is still on, so, and I can still clean the disc, but if you're cleaning the disc, you might as well also clean the brake pads. We do that here too. So same thing, those two screws with the 5mm Allen key. I'm going a lot like into depth with the brakes just because that's probably the most important thing before you go back out, to check that they're all good and running, because I mean you're gonna have a whole scooter season in front of you, and like you want them to be good, you know, you don't want to have to adjust them all the time, so it's best to have them good once and for all. Okay, and same thing, I'll clean the brake pads here. These ones have no pin, so I can just basically sweep them out like this. Yeah, honestly, they're still like very good, so I don't think I will change them. There we go. We'll get this back in here. Nice. Just get this back on.
Would it be better from the other side? Sorry. If I went around?
For you?
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. Let's right. Is there any rubbing? Nope. Sounds good to me. And the brake is looking a little loose, so just gonna tighten it a little bit. It's this screw. It's essentially the same as at the back, but it's just smaller and different. So I guess it's not the same. And tighten up here as well. When you're tightening up here, you're turning this one, and this small one is just to make it like lock in place. Nice. Okay. So now that we're good with brakes, which is honestly the most important part, now we'll go into kind of lubricating everything and making sure that it's good to go. So what I am using is Jigaloo. What you need is something well kind of similar that will that will lubricate your scooter. You don't want to use WD-40 because that will actually take out it's got something to do with the water, which basically makes it like unlubricate. WD-40 is very nice for cleaning and kind of removing, or if you need, take out like a screw, that kind of thing. But like the lubricant part of it will like come out after just a little bit. So what I'm going to lubricate here, let's shake this off. We're not sponsored by Jigaloo or anything, so I'm not biased. This is just what we use, by the way. So we're first going to go with the bearings, which for me are the most important. And honestly, I like to do this on the scooters kind of like even once every 2 weeks. You can never have too much lubricant in the bearings themselves, especially if you're going to be riding in the dirt and there's rain. I mean, lately there's kind of been snow. So I kind of want to get in the bearings there while I'm turning. So I'm just applying a bit and making it turn. Don't hesitate to go a bit more. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. And I'll kind of let it settle a bit. And since we're at the back, I'm gonna go a bit with the suspension too. So just putting a bit of lubricant here, kind of let it settle, and then put a bit back. Probably best if you do this like outside or somewhere. As you can see, it's kind of dripping everywhere. Same here. That's on this part of the suspension, and you kind of want to try getting into there too if you can. There we go. Same thing on the other side. Now, same thing with the front here. We've got the bearings. On the other side. Nice. And we've still got the suspension string here. Well, actually what's holding it there. So I am going to be putting inside here. And kind of a bit inside over there too. Once again, you're never too much with lubricant, so don't hesitate.
We've got another repair question here.
Yeah.
Is it okay to hear a ding sound from the front wheel when I hit a medium-sized obstacle like a small rock or go over some train tracks? It sounds like the sound that's made when you're scraping the fork with a wrench.
Okay, kind of like a, let's see, like a ding, like a, this kind of sound, I guess. I mean, if you're hitting something, then it's not, I don't think it's a problem. It's probably just like maybe your brakes or like the disc brake that's kind of hitting it. Again, try to be careful on potholes and things. Like, although like they're good, like you should be fine. But if you're going fast and you know kind of like jumping off those kind of things, or if going on train tracks, then you're more likely to kind of damage your scooter, especially at the front. The back usually you're fine because that's where your weight is, and I mean that's where it gets the impact afterwards, right? Whereas in the front, this is when it gets like the first impact. So it's probably just like something with the disc that's hitting when you're hitting something, the disc may be hitting the brake caliper or something like that. Nothing to worry about. So other than that, on this side we're good. So basically everything that we had to do, but I am going to check a few things before I get the scooter out. So just turning on the scooter, very important that I like to check is that when I brake, the lights at the back are flashing. And this is when you'll get an exclamation mark on your screen too. 100% normal. This is very good security wise. I'm also going to check that the lights work. And same thing, if your lights don't work, let us know, but they should be all good. And other than that, I think that's about it. Make sure everything's good here. You guys hear how in the beginning, when you go slow, you kind of hear a sound, but once I start fast, then it just kind of goes without. And even if you have like a little rubbing sound, it's not too bad. Like this will go off after a few kilometers. So yeah, I think that's it. Make sure your scooter is fully charged too. That's about it, guys. Let us know. Is there a question?
Yeah, someone asked, hold on, I lost it. Do the brakes only flash when you use the front brakes?
No, same thing with the back too. So any brake that you hit, it's going to flash as well. So this was the back one, this is the front one. So yeah, they should always flash when you're hitting the brake. Yeah. Okay, that's about it, guys. If there's anything else, don't hesitate to let us know. Let us know also what you think of those live repair videos, if there's anything specific that you want us to do. If there's a specific repair you guys need, even if it's for other videos too that you want posted online, that are more specific to a repair. Yeah, that's about it. If you guys have more questions or anything, don't hesitate, just even drop them in the comments after the live is done, and we'll be sure to respond as soon as possible. Have a great weekend, guys, and happy riding.